Lukey,
Timbo?
in this week's episode, I drop a couple of S-bombs. Do you reckon I should do a language advisory warning?
Yeah.
Cool. Listeners, you've been advised. Lock up the kids and let's get on with this week's episode. In just 2.5 years, today's guest has taken the seed of an idea to it now being in 34 locations around the world, including Afghanistan. Employs over 800 staff and is on track to turning over $40 million this year. Welcome, team, to the Get Shit Done episode.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, right there, so much more importantly, are a motivated business owner ready to crank out some great marketing, ready to get shit done in the marketing of your business. That's what today's show's all about, and it is very lovingly brought to you by the good folk at Net Registry, who get your online marketing sorted, and the guys at 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace where you're guaranteed to get a design you'll love. So, big show with language warning. That's been said. Here's what we cover today. Here is what you're going to discover today. I have a fireside chat with this great fellow, Brent Grundy. He's the founder of the global trampoline playground franchise Flip Out. Just a few years ago, he was broke due to a poor business decision, but he is back and he is nailing it. Let me tell you, boy, oh boy, very excited to bring you this interview. I've got 4 examples of listeners who are rolling up their sleeves and really leaning into their marketing. This is it's inspiring stuff. Kind of testimonials, but testimonials to the amazing work that they've chosen to do in their businesses. Plus, I've got an inspiring marketing quote all about the power of knockbacks. Gotta love that. Love a good knockback. Not. As usual, there is marketing gold dripping from the ceiling of the Small Business Big Marketing headquarters. So let's get stuck right in. Support for the Small Business Big Marketing Show comes from 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace, where you fill out a simple online brief, then let designers from around the world compete to deliver a design you'll love. I got talking to their head honcho, Patrick Llewellyn, who described the excitement small business owners feel when using the service.
You know, a lot of our customers are starting something new and you know, it might be their first foray in small business. And, you know, getting your logo design, your brand identity started is kind of the first thing that you do that's really tangible, you know, and it's something you can start to show off to your friends and say, hey, I've finally done it. 99 Designs, a place to show off to your friends. For a free $99 upgrade on your first design, visit 99designs.com/SBBM.
Get on Timbo's mailing list over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.
So, how are you? Very quick check-in, because today we are racing through stuff. There is so much to cover. There's so much I want you to do. I want you to be getting out marketing your business immediately following this show. Hey, I spoke on a boat this week. Lost my balance. That was embarrassing. I'm not sure whether the audience picked it up, but I had a bit of a slight moment where I thought, hang on, I think I'm going to fall because the boat's rocking so much. But I spoke to about 200 driving instructors in Sydney on this boat. Now, as you know, this is the Get Shit Done episode, and I want to share an email I got from someone in my audience on that boat within less than 48 hours after he heard me speak. He says this: hey, Tim, I've done it. I took your advice and made a podcast. Here it is. And he sends me the link to it. It was all about how to get a truck license in New South Wales. Brilliant little 4-minute piece. Loved it. In doing so, I adopted some of the things you spoke about at the conference. Helpful marketing, answering frequently asked questions, using your natural voice and being yourself. because people buy from people. That's why he did it. I also very much subscribe to your idea of not having a stagnant pond website. I'm updating it often, and that's something I'm always going to maintain. Loved your presentation on Friday. Wanted to say thank you. Regards, Michael, who is the Chief Executive Officer at All Truck Driver Training. That is what I call getting shit done. I love it. Had a great, we check in, had a great phone call from past guest David Warren during the week. If you want an inspiring episode of someone who's gone from rags to riches, have a listen to episode 157 of this show. I'll put a link in the show notes. He owns Sydney Tall Ships. He's now made an amazing business decision that has reduced his staffing costs by about $1 million. I'm going to interview him in an upcoming episode to get a bit of an update, but boy, oh boy, is he getting some stuff done. Had my first coaching sessions this week with some listeners who took up my offer in last week's episode. Love the coaching. God, I love talking to you guys and seeing you actively implement your marketing and getting excited about it. There's still some positions left. If you want to be coached by me, head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/marketing-coaching. You're going to love that. You can get me on your team. And I'm helping Keith. By the time this episode goes to air this next Tuesday, I'll have helped past guest Keith Abraham on Saturday. He's speaking to 2,000 people in Melbourne, and I'm going to help him sell his book at the back of the room, which is a ripper book all about living your passion. Big week for me. I hope you're having a great week in your business, that you are getting stuff done, that you are leaning into your marketing, and that you are loving it. Support for the Small Business Big Marketing Show comes from Net Registry, a one-stop shop for getting your online marketing sorted. They can get you a website address, also known as a domain name, a website, a place for that website to live, that's called hosting. They can even get you found on Google. And recently, thanks to the crazy amount of acronyms the online marketing industry has created, I played a game of one-upmanship with Verity Ma, their Chief Marketing Officer, aka CMO. I'll raise you an SEO for an SEM.
Yes.
What have you got?
I do a PPC off your SEM.
Okay. For your PPC, I'll give you a DNS.
For your DNS, I will give you a GTLD.
I have no idea what that is. For your GTLD, I'm just going to give you a TLD.
A TLD?
Yep.
So for your TLD, I'll give you a CCTLD.
For your, this is not so much an acronym, but for whatever you just said then, I'm going to give you a C panel.
Oh, so we've moved into brand names.
Is that a brand name? I just thought it was a long acronym. Crazy, isn't it? Luckily, Net Registry works hard at being an acronym-free zone. Head over to netregistry.com.au and get your online marketing sorted once and for all. No acronyms, no big words, no tech talk. Just a bunch of helpful guys and girls wanting to improve your digital footprint. And tell them Timbo sent you. Oh, hang on. Digital footprint. Is that tech talk?
Hey, Timbo, Matt here from Kinetics Correct Personal Training on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. Love the Small Business Big Marketing podcast, and having been a member of your forum since January, I can say it's the best decision I've made with our marketing. We're implementing some GOLD from episode 127, Video Marketing with Chris Savage, and we've seen increases in both traffic and conversions. A healthy mind and body goes a long way to a healthy business, so to start your health journey, get in touch with us at kineticscorrect.com. Cheers, Timbo.
Thank you, Matt, forum member Matt, for that one of those wonderful words. I've got to vouch for a healthy body, that's for sure, having lost 30 kilograms a couple of years ago. If you'd love to promote your business on this show via a little testimonial and what you're up to with your marketing, you just need to join the Small Business Big Marketing Forum over at crankmymarketing.com. Be a member for 3 months and you are in.
Join the Small Business Big Marketing community and have your marketing questions answered by other motivated business owners, including Timbo, over at crankmymarketing.com.
Righto, let's get stuck into today's guest. His name is Brent Grundy. He owns a trampoline playground franchise called Flip Out. And I came across him when I was reading a magazine in the Qantas Club a couple of weeks ago called My Business. Great magazine. Article written about Brent by journo Justin Gray. Thank you, Justin. You don't know me. And I don't know you, but you wrote a great article about Brent. What caught my eye was Brent's energy and enthusiasm around his business. Basically, 3.5 years ago, he was broke, right? Today, he's looking at turning over $40 million this year and employs 800 people in 13 countries. That's in 2.5 years. Boy, oh boy, talk about getting shit done. Get ready to be inspired, team. Seriously inspired. This guy is a mover and a shaker. He takes no prisoners. He talks about the virus of fear. He talks about just moving forward with wonderful, positive momentum. So I started off by asking Brent, what scares him?
Not much. Probably not trying hard enough. That'd be the only thing I'd be scared of.
Really?
Not putting 100% in.
Why does that scare you?
Well, regrets are the worst things. The one thing that I'd hate to do is not put 100% in something and then turn around and have something not work out for you. And then at the end of it say, you know what, I could have actually put a little bit more effort in and done a good job of it. And it might not have had the end result.
Where does that come from? Has there been a time in previous kind of business dealings where you didn't put in and as a result kind of suffered the consequences?
Yeah, there was. There's one probably around 2008. When I actually went to sell a company, and before I sold it, I took my foot off the accelerator a little bit, just a little bit relaxed and kicked back a little bit, and had some management in there that realistically, when you weren't in there doing the balance and checks on everything, didn't do their job sufficiently. And then in the actual sale of that actual company, I ended up on the raw end of the deal, and basically a little bit outfoxed, but at the end of it, as long as you don't do it twice, it's a lesson. If you do it twice, you're an idiot.
Mate, I reckon that outfoxing, I'm guessing that probably gave you a bit of mongrel going forward.
Well, the thing is, it's people that you trust are the ones that burn you the hardest. So that one wasn't a real fun position to sit. So I basically I did a sale of the company and got a deposit, and never got the rest of the actual sale price. So, and it was just because of the lawyer that I used to do the sale. I should have done a bit more due diligence on the lawyer before I used them. So it didn't have a clawback provision in the contract, and as a result, I was basically chasing ghosts to try and get my assets and all those other things back that I signed away. You
mentioned that concept of taking your foot off the accelerator, and I reckon there's a whole lot of business owners, big and small, who do that. I did it last year. I had a ripper, had my biggest year ever last year, took my foot off the accelerator in about October in terms of just a bit of marketing that I probably should have done for this year, and as a result, this year didn't fill up as quickly as I would have liked. It's been good, but it took a lot more work because I took my foot off the accelerator, and I find business owners do this when they either get a bit cocky because they're experiencing success, or they think they've reached the finish line and they haven't.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that ever happened to me was basically going broke. Not bankrupt scenario, but I pretty much had no money left. So I paid out everyone that I had to give my money to. The only thing is that when you're down on the bottom, the good part about it is even though you can't think of anything good at the time, and trust me, it does your head in. And you think of all the bad, silly things. But the one thing that is good is when you come to that day where you realise that it doesn't matter about your pride anymore. It's about the step forward. And that's where it all starts to become good again. That's the day that you put a big smile on your face and you start thinking, well, today's going to be better than yesterday. And it just gets better and better and better. That's the only side with being, on your butt. You've got that insight to keep pushing forward. Once you start getting that momentum, you just don't let it stop. So when I said before about, being on the accelerator, it's like a race car driver. If the guy's pushing the limit and he's pushing his best time, his concentration level is at a different level. Like everything becomes slow. Like everything, he's concentrating so hard that the only time that he's really realistically going to crash is when he has a little mind lapse where he'll just relax for a second, and that's enough for him to lose, and he'll just slip off the track and crash. So I look at it that if you keep pushing flat out hard, then your concentration level is going to be right up there all the time, you're not going to relax, and you do so much better than what you ever would than if you just decided to relax a little bit here and there. It's not about that. Just go flat out, go hard, and then when it's time to take your foot off, completely take your foot off and do something else.
And clearly that's what you're doing with Flip Out, which I want to get to very shortly. But one last question on that, what I guess is a very dark time for you and your family was like, I've had another guest on this show, a guy, David Warren, who owns all the tall ships on Sydney Harbour, right?
Yep.
Prior to owning those, which was a pretty crazy business, prior to owning those ships, he had the biggest spit roast business in New South Wales, made a lot of money, lost all his money, got to the point, and he tells the story of his wife wanted to go to her school reunion and they had no money, and he went behind the couch and found gold coins and went to the car and looked under the seat to find goldies, right, to let her find the $15-20 to go to this school reunion. And he pulled himself out of that, and he tells the story how did you all of a sudden pull yourself out of that dark patch and go, stuff this, I'm going for gold?
Those gold coins, I remember that quite regularly at one stage. That was the same scenario. I actually had a car that wasn't mine at the time when I went broke, and I had to, I remember thinking, closing your eyes and just think, where have I seen gold coins, coins, just to put fuel in it. And everyone that knew me, no one knew that I literally had no money. Everyone thought it was just, his business isn't there anymore, whatever. But it is a tough time. And when you go to get in the car and you turn that key and you see on the dash 28 kilometres, and then you think, I've got to pick my son up from daycare tomorrow, and then you turn the key back and you have to get back out of the car and just think that you can't go anywhere. It's not a fun one to be, for sure.
You're clearly a glass half full kind of guy.
I remember one day I had to tell my son, the only time I've ever had to say is, mate, we can't afford it. And I'll tell you what, that broke me more than it broke him. And then from that moment onwards, I just thought, you know what? It's not about me anymore. It's not my pride. It's about, it's about what you have to do. It's not a choice anymore. And that was decided that I was going to do something. And then in that same time frame, I went to a kids' play centre, and I saw for a birthday party. And while I was in there, I saw a little girl that kicked off some play equipment, and she got told that she was too tall. She was about an inch too tall to play on it. She was the right age, but she'd just grown a little bit faster than the other kids at the birthday party. So all the other kids were playing, except this one girl had to sit on a chair and watch. And just watching the parents of that child get quite upset at the staff inside that play centre, I thought, it can't be right. You may as well, you may as well just said that, this girl is a little black girl and she can't play with the white kids. It was terrible to watch. So because of that, I thought there's got to be something that everyone can play on. And at the time, there was nothing. There was little kids' play centres. They had an age limit on them. They had height limits, all these different restrictions. And I thought the only thing that would work would be trampolines, because it doesn't matter if you're 5 or you're 50. Everyone smiles at the word trampoline. So then that's when I decided to build Flip Out. And it was only 6 months later or something like that the first one was open. We opened in the car park. And that was because I literally just didn't have the money to go anywhere else in a car park. And then 10 weeks later, we were up there making some decent money. Sort of, I think our first 10 weeks was like $270,000 or something for 10 weeks work in a car park. So we pushed pretty hard and we've done pretty well.
So what do you mean you opened in a car park?
We found a car park out at Penrith Panthers, and we offered them basically an attraction for Panthers themselves, so that we could at least get something open and then you basically see where that takes us from there. So it was a bit of a gamble when we first went and did it. We had council problems. The council told us not to do it, and 2 weeks before the opening, the council said that we need to lodge a DA for using this in the car park, and it was going to take 8 weeks to do it, and that didn't really sit well with me, so we did it anyway. So we got fines on a regular basis, and I just put that into the rent, as I used to say. It's just part of the rent. Then it was 10 weeks later we moved, and in that 10-week time frame we did something like $271,000 in a car park at Panthers. So people used to say, "Oh, it's a trampoline outdoors," and I used to say, you can laugh. It doesn't bother me. I wouldn't tell them what we were doing, but now it's it's something we quite regularly do. We do them in different countries. We do them
Yeah, that's 2.5, from what I gather, it's about 2.5 years ago, and you talk about having no regrets. You have gone for gold since then. From what I can tell, you have got 34 locations in countries including Australia, China, Malaysia, Qatar, Scotland, Taiwan, Afghanistan, New Zealand. And is it 800 plus staff? Is that right?
Across the whole system, like not just my stores, but including all the franchise stores, there's over 800 people employed as a result.
In 2.5 years?
In 2.5 years, yeah. And at the end of it, at the same time...
That's nuts.
Yeah, well, at the same time, we could have done a lot more than that, but we haven't... everything we've done has been cash positive, so we still have not borrowed a cent from a bank. We don't... one thing that I did learn from my old company is it doesn't matter if you... When I sold the company, I had to pay all the company bills and things like that, which, you don't realise how big a bill some of your staff rack up for you sometimes, but... This one, this business, we don't run credit on anything. We pay our bills up front. We pay all our rent in advance. We pay everything that we do. We use cash, our own money. So we don't borrow from anybody, which is nice. So if we ever sold one day, then that money's just straight into our pocket.
So I need to understand, how have you done that so quickly outside of having... the courage. I talk a lot on this show about business courage, which is it's a general term, but mate, what is the one thing that you have done that has allowed you to get that incredible speed to market?
Well, there's one thing that would have stopped us right at the very beginning, and that was councils.
That's a permit thing. I get that. And you've gone, stuff you, find me and I'll build that into the rent. But there's something in your mindset that I want us to all understand that has, what is it? You tell me. I can't pinpoint it.
I do have a saying that I do say that if you're not on the bus, you're under the bus because we're not stopping. And I don't let anyone get in the way, and I don't let anyone disrupt our momentum. With the first store that we did, I always made sure that the first store would obviously pay for the second store, and then we had 2 stores to pay for the third store. And it was just constantly building. That's how we build up. So we just built on our own.
Your first store, I don't think either as a mathematicians, Brent, but what does the maths look like to have the first store then pay for the second store in a pretty quick space of time?
Well, the first store, after the first trampoline that we had, that actually got destroyed. It was out in the weather and it got destroyed. So we literally had to buy another one after that, then go into a building. And then it was about 6 months later, we opened our second store. And then it was our third store opened about, I think it was 4 weeks later after that. And then it just kept rolling. So sometimes we've been at stages where in a month we've opened like 3 to 4 stores in a month sometimes. So and we've also got franchisees on now. Most of the stores we've built ourselves and then sold them as a franchise after it. But with building as quick as we can, our biggest problem is just trying to get the right builders in place, trying to get DAs and things like that put through. So sometimes trying to push them through councils is now our number one problem, trying to get councils to work faster.
Mate, I would love to see you in front. I'd love to see you talking to a councillor. I don't know you from a bar of soap, but gee, I reckon it'd be an interesting conversation.
It is funny.
Can we role play that?
I've had 16-year-olds march council people out of sites before and sat there with a bit of a smirk, but at the same time, we don't have any other choice. Sometimes you just have, if you do what they say, you stop that momentum and you got 30, 40 people on that, that site that are all about to stop work. And I'd rather pay a fine of, $1,500 or whatever it is to maybe $3,000 to keep those people employed, to keep the business rolling and keep people having fun. At the end of the day, like if we do a good job of it, that $1,500 or $3,000, it's not going to kill us. And it also gives us a bit of time to fix whatever they need. So we're happy to work with people. But at the same time, is the whole mentality of just coming in and trying to shut someone down. If it's not a safety thing and it's something that can be, worked through and it's not going to, no one's at risk for getting hurt, then why stop the actual business?
You say you don't tolerate people who get in the way of your momentum. Give me what's it? How do you identify those people? Do they stick out like dog's balls?
They're the ones that carry the virus of fear, which is really contagious. So people that they'll come into your business, they wander around, and before you know it, you've given these people a job, you give them the opportunity, and then all they do is every time you come up with something, they put a fence in front of it. It's not a brick wall, but they put a fence in front of it and try and make it really difficult to get around. And before you know it, like, those people are trying to give you a different way of thinking, and it's just better just to get rid of them. And like we do, like sometimes, we've had people on for a couple of weeks and they, got all the credentials in the world, but I'll tell you what, they've got no balls to take a chance on anything. And sometimes you just have to, trust your gut instinct and do something instead of trying to make things like work from a university point of view. Sometimes it's the street smarts that get you across the line. And that's what a lot of these people don't have. A lot of people don't have that drive that just, if someone wants to, to try and tell you that you can't do something, I look at it and go, well, the good thing is they're going to tell the next guy not to do it. And then that's when, if I've done it, the next guy's going to get the same roadblock. And if I've actually got through and done it, great. Because he's going to get another roadblock, and most people will quit at that line.
These people with the virus of fear love that phrase, by the way. Are these both franchisees and employees?
Yeah, definitely. With franchisees, like, one thing that I do like with the franchisees is that when people start their business, I like that they've got the fear of respect, but they've also got the passion that they want to push through. And so for us, like, I really want to try and push those guys to do the best they can. And, we take a lot of that responsibility on as well. But it's going across that whole, it's the experience. It's the whole, the journey of taking that fear and turning it into, something really fun and exciting. And these people get up to go to work, and they don't feel like that they're going to work at all. They love what they do. They're surrounded by people that walk in with a smile and pay them, and then walk out with a bigger smile, telling them that friends are going to come next week.
So you must have a really, really strong culture in Flip Out, like one that you work very hard on, do you? Yeah,
well, we want kids to have fun. Like, we don't want to step in front of fun. Like, my guys say that, trampolines are our business, and I say, no, it's not. Like, smiles and fun are our business. The moment they stop happening, no one cares about trampolines. So I always try to get my staff to get, involved with people, to play, to teach. I'm happy for any of our guys. We run classes, and we don't charge extra for classes at all. We run a class called Little Ninjas. We run adult agility classes, all different classes for kids. And it's just about, giving people confidence. Mm-hmm. It's a massive confidence building program. We had a mother of one of the kids that come and do Little Ninjas. When we first met him, he was 6 years old. He's now 8. And when he was 6, he was such a quiet kid. Didn't really have any friends. His mum used to tell us when he used to come to Ninjas, he wouldn't talk to anyone, just have his hair in front of his face, really quiet. And he wasn't really into sports, but now this little kid's called Riley, and he does all our marketing, he does all our promotions, he does everything now. He couldn't do a front flip the first day that he came in, and I remember I sat there and told him one day, it was at the end of the day, and he wanted to do a front flip really, really bad. And then it got to the end of the day, this is outside on our outside arena, and I told him that if he doesn't do a front flip, he's not going home, he's going to sleep on the trampoline. And he was crying, and his mum said, oh, no, we'll just let him go. And I said, no, he's got it. He's not going anywhere. You're staying there, Riley. She usually do a front flip, and all my staff thought I was like the meanest person in the world. And the boy did a front flip with tears down his face, and then he got all excited and said to me, he said, oh, I did it. And I said, no, didn't see it, mate, do it again. So poor kid had to do it all over again. And then he hasn't stopped that buzz since. Now he's known as that kid that does all the tricks and flips.
Mate, I love it. I mean, what you've done there, you've done two things. You've realised you're selling emotion, not some rational thing, which the rational thing would be a room of trampolines. You're not. You're selling smiles. And B, you're creating these wonderful stories. I'm sure you've got many more stories beyond Riley. Now, mate, I'm conscious of time because in your style, you've decided to go to Malaysia this afternoon on the last minute and you haven't even bought your air ticket. So I know you need to do that. But just quickly, let's talk about the fact that you've, like within 2.5 years, you're in all these other countries and crazy countries. Afghanistan, Scotland, Qatar, Malaysia. What's that about?
If you're going to go all out, you go all out. There's no, all that doesn't mean just Australia. Like, it's without borders. So I found contacts. I find different contacts everywhere I go, and one usually leads to another, and it just keeps rolling on. So I've got a lot of friends in the Middle East, and those people have got us in contact with other people throughout Saudi Arabia and a bunch of other countries. Afghanistan, I visited there last year. That was a little bit crazy. But
tell me about that. What's it like setting up a business in Afghanistan?
Well, that one there wasn't an actual business. That's a charity one. So I actually donated a main trampoline to Afghanistan. So those kids up there, I wanted to prove a point that, kids are the same. Doesn't matter if they're, Islamic or if they're, Christian, Catholic. Doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what race any kid is or religion. It's, kids are kids. So those same kids have smiles and jump around trampolines the same as our kids do. And I just wanted to, give those kids the same opportunity after speaking with my friends in the Middle East. And they told me about how Afghanistan was and that the American troops are trying to give, toys and silly things to kids. And I just thought, you're doing it all wrong. If you want to do something, do it properly. Put a big green trampoline there and watch them come.
Yeah, excuse me, Commander in Chief. Look, I think you're doing it wrong. The answer is trampolines, and you need to listen to me just a little bit more. Love it.
That's it.
So that whole overseas thing, that's about contacts. That's about, Australia's a small country, let's move offshore, and that is just you identifying who do I know where and how can they help me identify sites and get permits to put some trampolines in. Is that the kind of conversation in your head?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'll do the one part that I'll do is now that we've actually got some good money coming in the door, I'm happy to do the financing and that kind of thing. So realistically, all I need is someone that's going to be passionate about it, someone that's going to have the drive, and then make them liable for it as well. So give them a bit of a percentage of a business or whatever the deal that you work out. But once you get the right person there, and we've got the money behind us, so there's no reason why you can't start opening.
I don't think there's no reason why you can't do anything.
No.
Do you wear the undies on the outside or the inside?
I used to get called Grundy's undies as a kid, so.
I forgot your name was Grundy. Hey, Brent, mate, great story. As I said, I read about it in a business magazine in the Qantas Lounge, and the energy just coming from that 2-page article, it jumped out of the page. And, it's business owners like you that make me doing this show after 6 years so worthwhile because you're inspiring, and I hope it continues. Finish with a scoreboard. We've talked about staff and locations 2.5 years in. Can you wrap some financial numbers around where you're at, having scrounged for gold coins just a few years ago?
Well, we had BRW and some other people do some research and a couple of articles come out. So I think their forecast is something around the 40 mil turnover, something like that.
In the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months. So I try not to get wrapped up in it, to be honest. I still drive normal cars, and I couldn't care less. Like, money's not my big thing. I just like it. It's just a tool to help bring a little bit of happiness. But I try not to get too focused on figures and things like that. I try just to keep to my normal sort of humble way. That's a big thing that I learned when I went broke. Pretty much, try to stay humble, because doesn't matter if someone's rich this week or poor. They're still a person regardless. So humble is one of my big things I always tell people in business to stay. No matter where you go, what happens, stay humble, because people respect you just on being humble. They don't respect your money, they don't respect your friendship, they don't respect any of those other things. They respect you because you're humble, and that will bring everything else.
Beautiful words, mate. Beautiful words. Tell me, I know you're looking for franchisees all the time. How can people find you?
Mate, if they get onto, jump on our website, even if someone wants to get onto LinkedIn, they can contact me on LinkedIn. One thing I am looking at trying to do in the future is help a lot of other people get started in their business. I'm one of these starters. I'm not the person that likes to stay in and do the grind of management for a real long period of time, but I like to get things up and going and start new ventures. That's why I start. My job isn't just to run the business. My job's, I look at it to open stores, open and grow networks. So we've got other projects coming up in the future that have nothing to do with trampolines, totally different businesses. And, I wouldn't mind sinking my teeth into a couple of other new ideas. So if other people want to start doing something different, I'm happy to come and check it out and maybe, get involved and help them grow their business.
Love it, mate. Are you on Twitter? Can people find you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'll have to look that one up. Sorry,
Love it, mate. I'll find all that information and leave it now. Brent, just one tip, mate. Don't forget to sleep.
Yeah, that's it. No, I do. I sleep pretty well, mate. Planes become pretty comfortable after a while. I worked out some good systems.
Good on you, buddy. Thanks for sharing.
All right, mate. Thank you. Bye.
So, just when you think the interview's finished, like I did, and I'd hit stop on the recorder, Brent said that he was annoyed that he didn't tell the full story of little Riley. So this is what he had to say.
With Riley, the little 6-year-old that did his first flip, his mother came to us probably about 6 months, or maybe about 5 months after he first started ninjas, and came to us and said, "You wouldn't believe what Riley got in trouble for today." And I said, "What for?" And she said, "I went to his school looking for him, and the boy that had no friends 6 months ago was not to be seen. She couldn't find him in the schoolyard, looking for around where the buses all go." And she said then she saw a crowd of kids, and she walked up to the crowd of kids hoping to see Riley in the crowd, and here Riley was standing on the school fence, on a brick school fence, doing backflips off the school fence onto the ground with a big crowd around him. So he'd gone from being, the quiet kid that, didn't want to answer any questions and didn't want anyone to talk to him, to being the centre of attention, calling a crowd and saying, "Watch this, watch me go." So that's a pretty satisfying moment.
I reckon, Brent, that gives good insight into you, because clearly whilst you're starting to make some good coin again, the fact that you kind of said, "Hey, I forgot to tell this story," and it's a story about Riley, that's why you do what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not about money. Like money's nice, comes and goes, whatever, but it's about the impression you leave when you, on people's lives. It's not about the cash you bring with you. So I just try and make sure that, I spend time in the stores. I go to the stores. I've got kids myself, so my kids are not sick of it yet. I have no idea how they're not, but they keep learning new tricks every week, and I'm always down in the stores. And I even sometimes actually go in there and actually run a little kid in ninjas class just to sort of bring back home the ground roots of why we started the business at the beginning.
Yeah, I think you'll be having a lot more Riley stories in the next months and years, and that'll keep you going for sure. I'll be interested to see what your next business is, mate, because it'll need to be another business that enables stories like that to happen.
The next one's a cracker. I'll give you that. It's a blast. So I'll get in contact with you before we actually launch it, but it will be a media frenzy, that's for sure. You're
killing me. Just give me just a little something to go on with, will you?
Mate, I can't give it to you yet, but currently it's right at the second. It's actually classed as illegal, so it does sound a little bit daunting, but it's really, really fun, and it's going to be fun for adults and kids. We just have to get around. We're just waiting at the moment to get it passed, get the new law changed, and as soon as we get that done, we're in and off we go, and the media will love it.
I love it, mate. As soon as you know, call me. I don't care what time of night. I'm leaving my phone on through the night now.
No problem. We'll invite you to it.
Whew, what about that? Are you feeling as inspired as I am? What a good guy, doing some good stuff. If you want to check Brent out, his website's flipout.net.au. You can hit him up on his Twitter account, although he's not very active. It's at FlipoutAus, AUS. But he is active on Facebook. So you can hit him up over at facebook.com/Flipout Trampoline Arena. Tell him you heard him on the show. Now, I've got my top 3 learnings from that fireside chat, thanks to the guys at Net Registry and 99 Designs. Remember to get your free design upgrade over at 99designs.com/SBBM. Number 1, beware of those with the virus of fear. They have the power to stop you moving forward at every turn. And as Brent said, it's contagious. Beware of it in your staff, your suppliers, even family and friends. Everyone's got an opinion, and it won't always be a positive one. So keep moving forward and beware the virus of fear. Learning number 2 from Brent, don't look at fines or penalties as a reason not to do something. At least consider the idea of copying them and factoring them into your pricing until, of course, you come up with a better solution. That's getting stuff done right there, isn't it? Number 3, if you're not on the bus, you're under it because we're not stopping. Got to love that. There's something to be said about creating an unstoppable forward momentum in order to grow your business fast, and certainly Brent is the master of that. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is. You can head over to the show notes over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and look for episode 248 and leave me your feedback. Someone once said, "The yeses built my business, the no's built my character." Righto, in the spirit of today's episode of Getting Shit Done, I want to read you this fantastic email from Millie. Boy, oh boy, are you nailing some marketing. Listeners, have a listen to what she's up to. She's from Mount Rainier Scenic Railroad and Museum, which is outside of Washington. Listen to what she's done. Timbo, I have a victory to share. I started listening to your podcast on June 26, 2013. What time was it, Maylee, by the way? I just want to be really precise there. It was my first day on the job at the railroad. I've been listening ever since, but more importantly, I've been an implementing machine. That's what it's all about, Maylee. That's where the action is. You had one episode in 2013 that touched on the value of building your email list. We didn't have a list at the railroad, and I knew we needed one, but it was one item on a very long list of things for me to do. We've all got those lists. Tick off one thing at a time is the best thing to do, and I think that's what she did. She goes on to say, it was something I knew we needed, but I wasn't really sure how to do it. Anyway, I took all the tips from that episode and put them into place. In July 2013, we launched our newsletter from where we went from 0 to 500 subscribers. That is excellent. Here we are 2 years later, and we have nearly 5,000 subscribers now. But check out the screen grab below. Our last issue had a whopping 93% delivered and an 86% open rate. Oh, the stats, she says. That's a big open rate, 86%. I'm reveling, Timbo, reveling and rejoicing. You preach the benefits of helpful marketing, building an audience, building your list, engaging with your best mates and giving them what they want. I sure do. The message is hitting home. She goes on to say you also had an episode or two that focused on the value of building up your owned assets rather than renting land on Facebook, etc. I've been taking that to heart. I'm so thankful. Thanks for all you do. Keep up the good work. Meanwhile, if you need me, I'll be doing the happy dance. Oh, I love your work so much. That is a wonderfully inspiring email. We can all take something from that. It's all about taking action. She didn't know what she was doing at the start, but took a step-by-step approach, and now a mailing list of 5,000. That's amazing. You can check out the railroad over at mrsr.com. Love your work, Mealy.
Welcome to a small business marketing show.
Righto, well, that brings us almost to the end of episode 248, team. I hope you feel inspired to go and create some great marketing, to get shit done. That's what it's all about. GSD. Write it on a note and put it everywhere around your office, in your car, next to your bed. No, don't put it next to your bed. You got to sleep. Don't want the adrenaline racing there. But take this episode as a sign that it's time to ramp up your marketing. Got plenty of marketing gold coming up in the coming weeks. If you're serious about taking your marketing to the next level, join hundreds of motivated business owners in the forum, my inner circle, over at crankmymarketing.com. Do it now. That's a good step forward. That's getting shit done. And if you've got a conference or something coming up where you'd love a marketing speaker who's pretty enthusiastic, head over to timreid.com.au and check me out. Be sure to use Net Registry to get all your online marketing sorted. They are very good guys. And grab your free $99 design upgrade over at 99designs.com/SBBM. Had a forum member post some work they got done on 99 Designs this week, some logo and brand identity work. Absolutely fantastic. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid. Always will be, always have been. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.